When you log into Paragon on your mobile device, whether you're on your phone or you're on a iPad or any of those types of devices, even on the computer like I'm showing you today, this will render itself on that device. So it's built on what they call responsive design. So it doesn't matter if you're on an iPhone or a Droid phone or the big iPhone, 8, 9, 10, whatever, it will play around and you can play with that. I'm giving you just kind of a quick overview as if I'm on my iPhone 6, 7, or 8, not the Plus, but you can do on the Plus. It doesn't make any difference. Any new phones that come out, because it's all built on what we call a browser application. So it's a web browser built on responsive design technology. When you log into your Paragon system, if you're logging into Paragon on the computer, it's going to act just like you go into Paragon on your computer, and you can access Paragon Connect if you wanted to. But the main thing for today is if you log in on your cell phone or your iPad, it will render itself like this. It'll ask you the question: do you want Paragon, the full Paragon, or do you want Paragon Connect? This is called Paragon Connect. This gives you a lot of the functionality you'll be able to do on Paragon, just in a much richer, more mobile-friendly, dynamic version. It's the same database, so anything you change or update in Paragon reflects itself in Paragon Connect, and anything that you change in Paragon Connect reflects itself in Paragon instantaneously. So they're tied together at the same, so there's not like a data feed. Across the top here, when you get into your system, you'll see that it's set up like this. Your first, that'd be your photo. If you don't have a photo there, you can update that photo in Paragon. You'll see all your buyers. And so if you're not familiar with the Collaboration Center, that would be another topic that we should discuss. But you can see all of your most active buyers are set up here, right? And so all of your active buyers are set up here, and they're designed so that the most active buyers are the ones you see first. So you can just scroll through and see additional buyers that have activity associated to them, but the ones that are using the system the most are right here. Scrolling down a little further, you'll see any new searches that are set up, any upcoming tasks, search expirations, any comments that may have been made through a Collaboration Center on any of the properties would then reside right here, okay? You also have the same tab. So in your Paragon system, you have buyers and you also have sellers. Under your sellers tab, this would be all of your properties that you're selling. So if you're selling a particular property, it shows up right here. You can assign a contact to that particular property, and you'll also be able to see any type of Collaboration Center activity happening with that particular property. So you'll be able to see all of this information. If you have associated a contact, like in this particular scenario, Gene Millman was associated to this particular property, you can view the statistics. You can see anything that's happening with this particular property when it comes to stats, how many people have looked at it, how many people have favored it or possible or rejected it, and you're able to get quick, real-time updated information on that particular property. So in this particular scenario, you can see all that information that would reside here. If you needed to edit that particular property, right now there's only 2 fields to be edited. That will be in the next couple of releases. You'll be able to edit the full property right from your cell phone using the Collaboration Center. Okay, let me go back. One other thing I want to point out to you is you also have the capability of updating the photo. So if I wanted to update this particular photo, you could come in and update a photo right there in the system as well. So if you wanted to update the photo, you can update your photos in the Paragon system, and it will then update in Paragon from Paragon Connect. So you have that capability as well. And I was going to show you if I could show you. One is not there. Okay. Your info is right here. So this will give you all the total number of newly created listings on your list side, any expirations that are getting ready to expire. And this is be the total number of listings that you have on your sell side. So this is the number of properties that you've got, pending sales, just more information about you specifically that's sitting right there, okay? If you wanted to run search, you can come up here. This works just like your power search in your Paragon system. So if I wanted to search by contacts, or I wanted to search for anything here, you can just search for let's say, I'm going to say Smith and see if I can find any Smith entered into the system. If there's a Smith, it'll bring back safe searches that have Smith associated to it, any listings that have the word Smith associated to it, any contacts, or any members or offices that are associated there. So very quickly, I'm able to access that. And since it's on a phone, if you click on that, of course, and I'm on the computer, so I can't show it to you, but your keyboard would come up and it's voice. If you want to click on the little voice icon on your keyboard, then boom, you can speak voice to this particular field, and it would bring back that information as well. So if you had an MLS number or a price range or anything like that, you would have that capability. Okay. By clicking on the hamburger menu, if you click on the hamburger menu, you see multiple different things. Here's where you come in and do your property search. So you can do a property search just like a regular property search, or you can do a location-based search. Since a lot of people on their mobile devices, one of the things that they love is the ability to do a location search. So if I wanted to come in and I'm at a certain location, or if I wanted to just type in a address, I could come in, type in an address, hit search, and it's going to bring back all the properties that are viewable on my screen that are in close proximity to that particular address that I put in. Again, it's really designed for being out in the field, and it works, like you said, a location-based search, or if I just typed in an address, you can start to see any of the properties that would come back, that if there was any properties associated here, right? One-click access, and you're now looking at this particular property. So it's really designed, again, being out in the field, being able to access this information quickly. A couple of things I want to point out. Once you bring back a property, you're able to see these little containers. This one-click access gives you all the general information. If there's a map view, if there's any property history that you're wanting to look at, you could look at the property history from this particular view. If there's any AVMs, if any AVMs are associated to this, and this is commercial, so probably not, but you can see any AVMs associated to this particular property, mortgage calculator, as well as if there were any documents, any not public, but any documents associated with this property at all, they would also render themselves here as well. Scroll through, you can see all the different photos, but just by swiping. If you wanted to text this, you can generate text. It works right off the text editor in your device, whether it's a phone, your iPhone or Droid. So if you wanted to text, just by simply click text, you can do that. If you prefer to email them or email a client, you could come in and just start to email, whatever client that you may have associated in this particular setup. This is the contacts, and these contacts are coming directly from your Paragon system. Set the email up and then send it, and off it goes. Okay, so very simple, very easy to work with, very easy to navigate this particular property. Okay, if I want to go, let's just go. And so that's based on just a quick criteria search. You can also do different views. If you wanted to view all the properties that you're seeing in a thumbnail view and scroll through, you can do just that. Once you select a property, if you select a property, it tells you, hey, the property's been selected, and gives you the same little share button right here. So you can still do the email text just like I shared with you, but also you see the little 3 ellipses, so you can click on that and it's going to give you more information. Here's where you get your driving directions or any third-party integration that you guys have today, whether it's clouds. These are just some examples of some third-party integrations. The driving directions is cool because once you select a property and see that property, one-click access on the driving directions opens up the native driving directions on your particular device. So whether it's the Apple or Droid device, it will open up those driving directions. Okay. And then you can just unselect that, and then off you go. Then you can go back home or wherever you want to go. So let's just go back home. Again, so that's under, I kind of did a little location search. If I did property search and say I'm just searching under residential, then I can click on the residential. Now here's a cool feature. Everything that I'm looking for under residential search is all set up the exact same way that's in my Paragon system. So if you've manipulated your search fields in Paragon, then that's going to represent itself here exactly, right? And so this is going to look exactly like it looks in Paragon for you. A couple of things you can do. Again, I pre-canned, filled out some information. It will tell you if you come into the system and you're trying to search for more than 500 listings, it will give you a notification that says, hey, you need to bring it down below 500 listings. Again, we got to remember, it's kind of designed for mobile, so you're looking at these on your phone. If you want to see just the criteria that you're set up to search by, simply clicking on this little icon down at the bottom will show you just the criteria that you've got data in, right? So you just said, oh, okay, I've got all this data is in these particular folders. I may want to update this, change it, add more criteria. You have that capability. Clicking on the ellipsis, you can reset everything back to the default, which would blanket everything out. You can save this search. So if I wanted to save this, I can save the search, or I can update my default template. So if I wanted to make a specific template, so every time I logged into my Paragon Mobile, it's already set up for a default template, I can do that, which is very nice. And of course, you can update and save this search to a contact. So if I wanted, or not save that search, I showed you the save search. This would be if you wanted to access any saved searches in your Paragon system, you would click that. So this is save search. Clicking on the save search gives me the ability to save that search off to a client. I can sell it to myself. I can add a contact. If I add a contact, it adds it also in the Paragon system. So again, they're tied together, one and the same. This is for me to be able to search. So if I pulled in my search and I wanted to quickly go and pull up a save search, then I can pull up a save search right here and load that save search just by one click. So on the mobile device, we're trying to make it very, very easy to access that information. Again, here's all that save search. If I want to quickly see what criteria I have in that save search, I'm able to get that. And if I want to just see the properties, just tap your finger on the search, and now it's going to bring back all the properties that were in that save search. So very, very easy to move around the application. Again, if I select that particular property, I get the new information up here. I can share this. I can go in and get more detail as far as if I need to go to third-party applications that may be there, driving directions, etc. If you wanted to share it, just like I showed you earlier, I can email or text this directly from my phone to a particular client. Okay? If you wanted to know the detail, just by tapping on the photo, it's going to now bring back all the detail, all that particular property. Again, being able to swipe through the photos, go through all the different information that may be available to you about that property to make sure that, you know, this is the information you want to go through. Again, your ellipses are right here, even if you're on your main detail. So I can go to driving directions directly from there. Okay. Let's take this away. Let's go back home. I go to the home just to kind of help give you guys a reference point, but I can go straight to the hamburger menu and show you all this. So we've talked about the property search. We talked about the location search, your hot sheet. Again, one click, and you're going to see a hot sheet. So by selecting the class, any hot sheet status, hot sheet type, and area, date range, price range, and then click search. So very, very easy, very self-explanatory on how to work that. And hopefully you guys are seeing Contact Manager, the same thing. All the contacts that are in Paragon are also in your collaboration center. So there's not a lot of differences. So all of these are all my contacts. If I wanted to add a contact, simply click Add Contact. If you want to filter your contacts, you can filter your contacts by active or inactive, last name, date, last visit. This is a great little sort because this tells you the time they last visited their collaboration or most visited. However you want to set that up.
Mary needs to mute her mic.
Okay. So anyway, so if I wanted to go into Steve Smith and click on to Steve Smith, I'm able to look at Steve Smith's contact information. If I wanted to edit his contact information, I can simply click on the edit and update any information. Maybe it's an email address or a phone number. You have that capability. Again, anything I do here goes there. If Steve's set up on a client collaboration site, then you can have one-click access off to their client collaboration site, which is their consumer view of what they're doing as far as the collaboration. You can see really quickly that Steve's pretty excited. He's got 21 properties that he's looking at, 10 possible, 2 rejected. And you can see that we've got a meeting set for, we missed it, March 27th. Just kidding. But seriously, you get the idea of all the information that you're able to set up here with that particular contact. Again, going back to my hamburger menu, member search, you can search for tours and open houses. If there's any tour and open house associated, you can go through and search for those open houses or those tours in your Paragon Connect application. If I wanted to show you, Brython, is Nate Bassey on the phone?
I am, Terry.
Hey, Nate, could you, I want to show the editor on the photo, because I think that's a really cool feature. Can you,
Yep.
Because I feel like
Just go to sellers.
Okay.
And then go down and click on edit on any of these listings. And then you should see the little photo icon there if you have the permissions to edit the photo.
Right. Okay. Maybe that's what it was last time. I didn't have the edit. Okay. Maybe I do. Okay. So real quick, I wanted to show you this earlier on that particular photo. I didn't have it, but if I click this edit photo button right here, this is important, guys. I want you to really pay attention to this, because this is really cool. If you click on the edit photo, this gives you the ability to really enhance that image while you're on your device. So if you've taken your photos and you've loaded them into Paragon and you want to update those images, then you'll be able to update and update those images. So in this particular one, I want to click this image. You've got all of these opportunities. You can enhance that image, and I'm just playing around here just to give you some ideas, but I can turn this into a grayscale, or I can turn it into this area here, a blur, or whatever it is that I want to play around with. I can come up with different types of views on this particular photo. I can increase the brightness. I mean, you can really take this way out. If I wanted to increase my brightness on this, you can wash it out if you wanted to, right? So you've got some opportunities, so you can really enhance maybe the photo that you're putting in there, which makes it really nice. You can add shapes. So if you wanted to put a triangle right at the front door, or you wanted to add an icon to a particular an arrow or something on the photo that you wanted to do, you could do that, which really kind of makes it cool, because a lot of times, especially in today's world with Instagram and Snapchat and all these different things, people are trying to draw attention to those particular photos. So if there's anything specific you might want to highlight in a photo, you have all of that capability. Now, the nice thing about this is any updates you make here on those photos in your Paragon Connect reflects itself in the Paragon system itself. So if you were to change one photo to grayscale, I'm not sure you would do this, but if you did, just for an effect, or to make it different or make it unique, you could do something like that, which would be really, really cool. And it would update itself in the Paragon application. So any consumer or any agent that we're searching and they found that property, they would see that new cool enhanced image. So anyway, I just thought I would share that with you guys. That's under, that's very, very cool, and it's under your photo maintenance. Oh, sorry. Under edit. So when you go into your sellers, if you're in your sellers tab, this is going to give you all the properties that you're selling. So all of your properties that you have for sale are going to be right here, right? If you don't see any statistics, it's because they haven't set up the seller side, or is that still going to be coming in, Nate, from Paragon itself?
So if you haven't had the sell side set up. So yes, if that's just your listing, you haven't associated a contact with that listing. Also, a quick note too, Terry, that you can also snap photos from your phone as well and upload those to Paragon Connect or Paragon, right? So not only can you enhance it, but you can also snap it as well.
So if you're, great, thank you, Nate. If you're at the property and you take photos from your phone and you can add those directly in, you can enhance those photos that you're taking from the property as well. So that's another great feature there. Again, so it's broken out into 2 sections. This is your buyers. This is all the people looking to buy properties. And under sellers, this is all the properties you have for sale. So we've combined them both, making it very easy for you to go back and forth between the two. And then the other couple of things I'm not touching into, Affiliate Connect is a separate product. It probably won't be turned on in your particular area today, but that's something that maybe down the road. You've got your help and then about all of this thing. So forget the Affiliate Connect. tours, open house, member search, contact manager, hot sheet, your location searches, your property searches, and of course your dashboard are all in play, and those are available to you guys today. So I highly recommend you getting out there and playing around with it. You really can't mess anything up, and as you kind of tap through and show different things, it will make it'll be very, very easy for you to update and manage and look through from a mobile perspective. So if you're out in the field today, this is highly recommended to use the Paragon Connect application to be able to find properties. All your contacts will already be set up over here. So everything that when you log into the system, everything's going to already be preset for you. Now, this is, if you don't have a photo, this will help remind you in Paragon to go set your photo up. And on your contacts, if there's no photos for your contacts, that would be a great conversation to reach out to some of your contacts that you've got set up and just walk them through, hey, you can set your photo up here through a collaboration center or something of that nature. And that giving you guys a little bit more connection when it comes out. If there's no photo, it'll just be their initial, it'll say AJ, right? It'll just be AJ and their name. So you'd still be able to see that. Right here, if you set them up on a collaboration center, so if this is my buyer and I set them up on a collaboration center, you can see directly here in your Paragon Connect how many times they've actually viewed that site in the last 30 days. So all mine's going to say 0 because they're not real people, but you can see all of these quick access to see how many times someone has actually visited the collaboration center right from my Paragon Connect. So it just really submerges you into all the experiences that your consumer's having directly on Paragon Connect, not counting how easy it is to run searches, set up searches, save contacts, access your contacts, driving directions, and everything right from your mobile device. This little icon right here allows you to edit. And so you can just change the color. So if you wanted to change something to green or blue or red, you can set that up there as well. Okay, so if you don't want the purple, you want it to be black or green, these are the colors that you have to choose from today. But some people want to change the color up. That's fine, you can do that. And so you have that capability. Okay, that is kind of a high level on Paragon Connect. I mean, it's very, very simple. It's very, very easy to use. Once you log into the system, it will take none of you less than 10 minutes to be able to poke around and see all the different scenarios to be able to search from. If you're in your property search, I guess under property search, a couple of different things. Again, this is going to match and mirror the way you've got it set up in Paragon. It's very easy to work through and see all the different fields. All these fields mirror exactly what you have in your Paragon system today. Okay, so you don't have to go around and search for, is it the same? It's exactly the same the way it's set up, even in the same view. Okay. All right, so that's kind of a quick overview of Paragon Connect. I mean, when I say there's not a lot to educate you on, it's not very difficult. It's very easy to go through. The biggest thing is when you log into the Paragon system from your mobile device, it will ask you Paragon, and you'll see the word Paragon Connect. I think it's in purple. Click Paragon Connect, and it'll log you directly in to Paragon Connect, and you will now be looking at this view from your phone. And then from there, you'll be able to access all the features and functions that I just shared with you. Bryson, I can open it up, or if there's a text or chat for any questions that I may want to touch back on, I'm happy to do so.
Yeah, at this time, we'll open it up. If you have any questions for Terry, you can either unmute your mic and ask them, or ask them in the chat box.
Which app at the App Store do I do? Just plain old Paragon, or what do I do?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Great question. So the question was, where do you go to the App Store? And so that's the beautiful part about this particular application, is it's not a native app. So there is no App Store to go to. So if you go to Paragon, like the way you would log into Paragon on your computer, if you did the same thing on your phone or tablet, it will take you to the screen where you'll select Paragon Connect. Remember, that's a great question, because there is no App Store, there is no Google Play, there is none of that. It doesn't matter what phone device you use, what tablet you use. As long as there's a browser associated to it, you can have this great experience. You don't have to go to a particular app store. So that was a great question. It will render itself on the device in its native state. So for the person that just asked that question, if you go to your phone and you type in the URL, just like you would go to Safari or what have you, and go to Paragon that way, it will ask you the question to basically to go to Paragon Connect. And once you click that, it will then take you to this view. Everybody understand that? Everybody, I just want to make sure everybody's clear on that particular, because it's not, you don't download this from anywhere, and that's the beautiful part about it. It just works on your device regardless of the device you use.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just looking at all my listings on this mobile device, and I just put a listing on last night. I see where it says one favorite, one rejected. The rejected part comes from who? The agent, the client, and what does that mean? Overpriced, consider a price change, what?
Great question. Okay, so what that means is in the collaboration center, which if the folks on the phone are not familiar with the collaboration center, that's something we should probably set up. And Bryson, we can work together on setting up that communication. Is that information is coming from the consumer. So what they're saying is someone has put that as a favorite, and you've got somebody on your particular property has rejected that property, right? And so if you've got a showing system set up or something like that, they can make a comment on that particular thing of why they rejected it, right? So there could be reasons why they rejected, but it's letting you know as the seller that you've got one favorite and one rejected on that particular property. And if you're not familiar with the seller side, you can set that seller side up in Paragon so that your client also receives that same type of information. And that's a great thing, because if you're, just hypothetically speaking, not that you would, but if you end up with a lot more rejects than favorites or possibles, that gives you and your seller great dialogue to say, hey, listen, the price may be too high, or I told you got to change out the carpet, whatever it may be. There could be very good reasons that you've already had the conversation, but your seller decided, nope, I want it at this price and let's go for it. And you agree to that, but based on the data that's coming in from all the agents in here, it's giving you a great place to have that additional conversation. So that's coming from the consumer out there in the marketplace is where those numbers come from.
Okay, and how would you set your seller to have access? Is it only on the desktop, or can you do that from the mobile app?
Yeah, so from here, if you have your seller, let me see. Let me refresh this. Nate, how can I refresh?
Log out real quick, just real quick. You made a config change there. Just log out real fast.
Okay, hold on just a second. I'm gonna show you real quickly. This is a great question, by the way. And so I hope everyone's listening. Okay, so I'm in sellers. In your side, you should see this little plus button that says assign a contact. You see that?
It's not there. Let's see. It's not there on any of my listings.
Okay, maybe should he log out or log back in, because it should be right.
Yeah,
there.
log back in. We got a little bug there that we're working on right now to address. For some reason, it kicks off that sell side plus sign there. So if you log out, and log in, you should see that back there.
And while you're doing that, I just want to show you. So this is assign contact. If you click on the plus button, this is going to give you all your contacts that you have the ability to associate to. So if you click on the contact, it will say set up the sell side.
Okay, so I logged out, logged back on, it's working. So I don't have the contact set in there. Like you're showing, you can just pick a contact. So
Okay, so what you're going to have to do is, because remember, it's tied to your Paragon system. So under Paragon, I'm going to switch over here, see if you guys can see this. Under Paragon, under Paragon, under your contacts, it says you add a contact. So you'll need to add that contact there, or you can add that contact directly in from here. So if you wanted to add the contacts that you can select them from, you'd come under your contact manager, and it'll be blank, right? You won't have anything there, and you simply click the little add button right here. So do you see how I did that? I went from contact manager, clicked on contact manager, and now I can add. If you have the information with you, you may not have it with you, but if I wanted to add, I can simply click the add button, and here I can put in all this information. Now, once you put this information in here, it's going to automatically add it to Paragon as well. Or if you wanted to put more information than you have right here, you could go to your Paragon system, and under contacts, you could add that contact directly in there. So if I go into contacts and I'm going to add a new contact, it gives you all the information to set up and add that contact right here. So lots of different ways you can do that, but that would give you the best experience. One way, either place you can do it, but once you set them up, then you can associate that contact to this. And let me show you this. This is really nice. So once you associate that contact to, sorry, I was in contact. Let me go back to my, this is on my demo, so I don't know why it keeps doing that. Hold on just a second. I want to show you this because this is really nice. So if I want to assign the contacts, you see the arrow there. And then once your contacts are in here, you can select that contact. And then once you select the contact, you can give them a personalized message. Hey, I'm just saying, Matthew, or whoever your seller is, here's a cool setup, right? I'm going to set this up for you. And then you can set up for them to get a daily or weekly email, and you can set up to get a daily or weekly email. Now, once you do that, you're going to send them a notification. When they click that notification, they're going to get a report that looks like this, right? And so but it's going to be on their phone. So it'd be a phone version of this report. I just showed it to you on the computer. And so that client now is going to be able to see all the listing views, all that's going on with their property, all things happen in the last 14 days or 30 days or 90 days. These are all tappable. If you have, if they're showing, I can't remember, Bryson, do you guys have showing time?
yes.
We do.
Okay, so that showing time activity widget would be right here. If you wanted to see feedback, you could even expose the feedback to that client. So if I were to click on this feedback, I could see what kind of feedback I'm getting on this particular scenario. So I could look back and see what kind of feedback may have came in from that particular showing. And I've clicked on some of these before, and it's like, hey, I like the property. The yard was just a little bit too small. Didn't have anything to do with price. And so it's giving you and giving your seller a lot of great information right there from the sell side. It's showing them how many people have marked it as favorite, possible, or rejected it. How many times agents have viewed it. How many buyers have viewed it. How many times it's been recommended. How many agents have been in a safe search. How many prospective buyers in a safe search. Any kind of social activity. How many times their property has been viewed by an email. So all of that that was a big explanation to show you how powerful this all is from it comes to the collaboration center from a buy side and a sell side, all to make up this information on to make up all this information that comes in here. And that's where you're also going to be able to see the statistics of that particular property. So you're going to be able to know instantaneously what's happening with that particular property from the Paragon Connect side. And the even greater part is you can expose that to your client so they're able to see all this real-time activity happening so they can make better, more informed decisions, right? So if there are lots of activity happening, no offers, that gives you the opportunity to have that great conversation and said, hey, listen, whatever whatever changes we have to make, whether it's price or just something, paint, you guys can have that conversation, and it's all based off the information coming from the collaboration center and the sell side. So great question. Play around with that, set that up. If you're not familiar with how to set up your seller side or buyer side, then get with Bryson on that, and he could probably share with you how to do that. Or, you know, at a later date, we can set up another demo on the sell side.
I have a question.
But
Sorry about that. If we set a seller up for this information in the Connect system right now, when they had previous views in MLS, will those show up, or is it just after we set up the Connect system?
Nate, can you answer that question for us?
Yeah, no, it'll show all the views, so it won't just start at that point. So it'll still track everything. So it really doesn't matter when you start it. It's just a matter of when you want to share with your contact or your client.
Great. So if that property's been on the market for the last 30 days, everything that's happened in Paragon, all the safe searches, all the emails, everything, the only thing that wouldn't show would be, well, even if it's if there's properties been out there that people have favorite possible rejected, all that would come in as soon as you set it up from a historical standpoint.
That's great.
Great question.
Would you set up when you're doing the sellers, because I'm doing that right now, fixing to put it in test mode and check this out. Do you think it's good to do it daily or weekly? What do you think?
That's a great question, and it really depends on how you guys are in the business and pros at it, right? And sometimes you have a seller that's just, they want to know anything and everything that's happening. It's almost like their morning coffee. They want to get a report every single day at a certain time in the morning that shows them what's happening. You can do that in the seller side. If you want to set it up Friday at 5 o'clock because they're getting a nice bottle of wine and they want to see all the activity, you can do that as well. So it's really going to be up to your seller and how they want to have that information sent to them. So totally up to you. I mean, if you want to set it up on a daily basis, or if you're playing around with it, just kind of set it up on a daily basis, and you at a certain time of day, and every day you can see that information going. So I don't think that we have a recommendation. Nate, have you heard anything that how most people do it as far as daily or weekly?
Sorry, trying to find my mute button. Yeah, no, I think you nailed it. I mean, it's really dependent on your market. So, I mean, if your market's hot, then obviously the more frequently you're going to want to send that email. But if it's something that's, not a lot of action going on, then definitely a weekly would probably be better.
Yeah. Yep. And I got to tell you guys, if you're not using the sell side, your seller's going to go nuts about this because, and you as well, because this gives you, like the gentleman just saying, that's a daily touch point to that seller. I mean, how more awesome is that from an agent perspective, especially from a seller, to know that my agent's touching base with me on a daily or weekly basis at minimum, just to tell me what's going on with my property. So it's an awesome feature that's available to you guys in Paragon today.
Okay, and one more thing.
Yes,
So if I go back and set all these, a listing that's, I don't know, a month old, will they get all that data, or from the day that I set it up from there forward?
All the data.
Okay.
Yep. So that's a great thing. It's even if you have you can even pose it as, this is a great new feature in Paragon. Here's everything that's happened over the last 30 days. And this point forward, I will give you a weekly update. So they're going to be able to see instantaneously all the empirical data that's happened in the last 30 days. And it's great because I think that a lot of sellers, when they see that information, even though it's not that they don't trust, but it's very hard to have a conversation when it's like, well, this is kind of what's going on in the marketplace and stuff like that. But there's going to be so much information that they're going to be able to see right there from the seller side to be able to make that decision. And the nice thing about the seller side, I showed it to you on the computer, but if they access that through their phone, it's going to be, they see it on their phone or their tablet or whatever device that they're looking at, it will render itself there properly, just like I'm showing you here.
Hey, Terry, you have a question on the chat regarding how do you add a client picture again from Collaboration Center?
Okay.
And as a side note, while you're getting that set up, we are working currently, on enhancements to do all this within Paragon Connect as well. So not only your agent photo, but also your client photo as well. So.
Okay, so this is and here's the nice thing: if I'm on the buyer activity or seller activity, if I'm in the collaboration center, either way, buyer or seller, or if it's both, they'll be both. So if if the gentleman wants to have just a seller and that person's also a buyer, you can set them up on the collaboration center, and they'll have buyer and seller. But to answer the question, simply click your buyer or seller or whoever, your customer basically, just simply click on the photo button and they can upload their image right there. If you have a photo of your customer, you can do it for them. So if you said, hey, send me your photo, you can take that photo, save it to your computer, click on this for them, and you upload that image right there. So if I wanted to upload an image, say I'm going to take my friend here, I'm going to save her. That's how easy it is. Now I've just uploaded my client. And so when I go to my Paragon Connect, I will see her picture right there as my person. And so it just also makes, when you're setting up the collaboration center, when you set it up for them and send it out, it also makes for a nice experience for your customers, especially if they have their picture there, or it just gives you another way to have a conversation with them. Hey, set your picture up here. Just anything you can to do to keep drawing them in. And then from the buyer side, if you guys are not familiar with what you're looking at right now, or the seller side, and then I will get with Brython and Ken to set up a presentation that I can walk you guys through that, because that's very, very powerful communication tools out of Paragon. I mean, today we
Is that only possible on the desktop feature and not on the app feature that you're showing now?
Say that again. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
That was my question on adding the client picture to the contact details. Are you only able to do that on the desktop version of Collaboration Center, or are you able to do it on this app, the web browser on an iPhone?
To answer that, Terry, that's all coming soon. So the idea there is, you see Bob Morris's picture on the screen. You'd be able to click on that and upload your own agent photo, or snap it to, with your phone. And then we're also looking at an enhancement so that you can actually add a client photo as well, where it'll only show within Paragon Connect, similar to how you update your phone with contact photos and things like that. So that's not available now, but we are working on enhancements for that. So there's a lot of enhancements that we have. If you notice, Terry is demoing the seller side, and the ability to add a contact, you had to get out of the flow to do that. So those are the little flows that we are correcting. So soon you'll be able to, assign a contact, add a contact at the same time. So continuing to add a ton of functionality to the application. So just a fly.
Yeah. So you guys, this was released to you guys just on Tuesday as really it's your mobile search component, like Nate's saying. Over the next course of the next few months, lots of enhancement. We're putting a ton of energy into this, and so this is going to change. Come by the fourth quarter, end of the year, there's going to be full edit capabilities in this application as well. So lots and lots of stuff to come. But right now, I guess like Nate was saying, is the way I showed you how to do the update photo is it today, but that will be enhanced in the very near future. Great question. Okay. Any other questions?
You have one more, I'm sorry, on the chat there. You have one that's asked about how do you reset a client who may have opted out in the past, but now wants to receive updates. And I can answer that. We are working on adding more contact functionality into Paragon Connect. So it'll resemble a lot of the features that you have in Paragon Online. So to answer this question, for now, you will have to go back into the Paragon application itself, the online application, as Terry's showing here.
And so if I was, I don't have you in your view manage contacts.
Mm-hmm. You should have a flag here. Yeah, you should have. Yours is all good there, but on your email you should have a flag right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some at the bottom.
It would show a flag right here that they've opted out.
I think you have 2 at the bottom, very, very bottom, the 23 there.
Yeah. So this is opted. So you can click on that. This is a live site.
You're on a live site. Yeah.
Yeah. But you would click on that to be able to opt them back in.
And one
Any
last thing
question?
too, as well, Terry, if you're on the help on the home page of Paragon Connect, there's a help link there as well. You know, ideally, we try not to make Paragon Connect complicated. We want to make it really easy to use under the hamburger menu there. But we do like to provide some type of help. We also like to do a lot of our release videos so that you can kind of get an overview of what's coming or what just was released. So that's available as well.
And since, yeah, it would open up on your phone, of course, but as I was I'm on a kind of a, I don't know what you even call this, Nate, but you get the idea. So if I'm on this, and I can even show you guys, if I were to change this to an iPad, kind of what it would look like if I were to turn it sideways, what it would look like. So you can see how it renders itself for the device that you're on, regardless of that device. I was just kind of playing around with different things. To give you an idea. Great. Well, I hope that I know we're kind of right up against the hour. If there's not any other questions, or if there's any additional questions, I'm happy to take them. But if there's not any additional questions, then I hope you guys get in there, play around with it.